Welcome to tonight's episode of Talking Points. I'm your host, Said Niaz Ahmed. In our studios today, we have a guest. Her name is Shancita Islam. She is a writer, a singer, a filmmaker, an artist, and a painter. But before that, I want to share something with you, my viewers, that an icon of Bangladesh community, Mr. Inam Ali, died early this morning. He was the one who established British Career Awards. He established a magazine called British Curry Life magazine, established a chef's college, and was responsible for many of the good things that go with the curry industry. He was very well connected and very much instrumental in getting what is popularly known as a Vindaloo visa. He was a great person who helped establish the NRB Bank, the non-resident bank for Bangladesh. He was very well connected, as I said, and as an example of his connections and his reputation, the British Prime Minister David Cameron was at the Curry Award show. He even was invited to Bangladesh, and Mr. Inam Ali accompanied Mr. David Cameron to Bangladesh to help improve the British and Bangladeshi trade. I could go on, but inshallah we'll talk about Mr. Inam Ali later, inshallah. Thank you very much. We move to our guests. Welcome to the show, Shancita. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Bahalo.
Well, what brings you to London? Well, London is your home,
yes.
Almost.
I had a book launch of my book, The Tree People. So the book took 27 years to finish, and it's only available at Brick Lane Bookshop, okay. But it's sold out.
I'll talk about the book later. If it took 27 years to write, how many years will it take for me to read?
There were gaps in between.
Right. Shancita is not just a writer. She has written and published 11 books. She has produced 16 films and have been shown in throughout the world in many countries, and she is an artist, and her work has been on show, on display at many of the exhibitions in the top galleries of the world. So tell us something about yourself. We will come to the book The Tree People later.
What would you like to know?
In the beginning.
Well, I guess my parents told me that from the age of 3 I started to draw. So I was always creative, but then I was academic as well, and I had a place at Oxford and LSE. I went to the London School of Economics, and I did comparative politics and international history, but I was keeping up my art because back then art wasn't seen as a viable profession. But I always knew in my heart that I wanted to be an artist. Then I got a scholarship to go to film school in directing and screenwriting. I did my MA. And then I was modeling and working in television. And then I got into Chelsea School of Art. But I was bullied at art school, so I dropped out and I set up my company, Pigment Explosion, in 1999. And I've done like over 100 exhibitions now.
Why were you bullied?
I was the only Asian on the course, and my style is very traditional, and I think the teacher was very acrimonious and hostile, and I realized this wasn't an environment that I was going to flourish in.
Okay, you're right, I understand, yes. So you dropped out of the Chelsea Art School and you established Pigment Explosion.
Yes.
What is the explosion about?
Pigment Explosion is a non-profit arts company that specializes in international art projects around the world with developing nations and marginalized communities. So I've worked with street kid musicians, slum kids,
in
battered
Bangladesh?
women in Bangladesh. I've worked in Nepal, in Cambodia, in Indonesia, Malaysia, Burma.
When you say you worked with these marginalized people, what did you do with them? I mean, did you teach them? Did you show them the ways of the world? Or did you teach them how to draw? And
I showed them how to take photographs and film, and I made films about them, and then I drew them, and I photographed them, and then I recorded their stories, and I made books about them, because I wanted the invisible to be visible.
And I know that this is, I mean, there are a lot of people who are working on these projects, and you would say that this is just me trying to help their lot. But how successful do you think you were in your own aim?
Yes, I think that they felt heard and seen, and they appreciated it, and we had a lot of fun, and they liked the book and the pictures. So I felt that I did something good. I don't just want to make art for rich people. It's the same with my music. My music started at age 42 after I remembered a trauma from childhood, and then I just started to make music. Now I've made 65 albums, but I've released 9 albums, and I play sitar, tabla, harmonium, keyboards, piano, bass guitar, electric guitar, acoustic guitar.
How would you describe your music?
It's mental music. It's designed to ameliorate those in mental pain. And some of it's electronic, some of it's more classical, some of it's pure piano.
Vocal? Vocal? Do you have do you sing songs?
Yes, I also sing, and I rap. I do it all.
All in English?
Sometimes in Bangla,
Yes.
sometimes in different languages, in French.
The other day I attended a program about that Mexican artist Frida Kahlo. Yes, see. And she has gone through, I wouldn't say similar, but a lot of trauma and pain in her life.
Yeah.
When you work with these marginalized people, the unfortunate children, you provided them time, and you try to guide them and bring some pleasure in their lives, you see. But did you monitor that? Have they really improved their lives, or it was just a short time, good time, and then they forget, and then they plunge themselves again in the problems of the world?
Hopefully it inspired them and showed them that they could do whatever they want if they put their mind to it, and it would motivate them to maybe do music or art or writing, because it's an inherently good thing to do.
As you experience yourself?
Yes.
Are you in touch with some of them?
Some of them, yes.
Yes. Because I am always keen about learning that I do something good for the community, or something for under 12 or under 14 people, you see. Then I move on, you see. But what happened to them? Did they really benefit from this, whatever somebody did to them, or brought a particular knowledge or trait to them to learn? And then what happened to them? Did they really go ahead in this or not? See, if they did, it was time well spent. If they did not, then it was a waste of time, and I should have probably persevered more to help them improve their lot. You were talking about painting, drawing, writing, and photography, and we have briefly talked about painting and drawing and writing, but photography. How did you get into photography? Was it necessary for your other?
Yes, my husband got me a digital camera, and then I started to incorporate photography in my work. And I did a photography project with the Rohingya refugees, and was photographing them, and then I gave all the work to ActionAid to help them raise money for the Rohingya cause. But yeah, photography is very important to me. I use it as a tool in my work.
Does that help you also do your paintings?
Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes I work from photographs and sometimes I work from life. Sometimes I just use my imagination and strange things come out.
But most artists, you see, they need a model, isn't it? See, they need somebody to sit in front of them and do the painting. See,
yeah, I draw my mother sleeping. I've been drawing my mother sleeping for many years. So my mother would sleep and I would draw her. And I've done many, many drawings of my mother. Yeah. So they touch me when I look at them because it's a moment in time. So hopefully when I go home I'll be able to draw my mummy again.
I read somewhere that you were known for graffiti.
Yeah,
What sort of graffiti did you?
There's a club called Shoreditch House and I walked in there and I started to doodle in the toilets and then I got caught and then they said, "We love it, darling, we want you to doodle all the toilets." Then I got free membership for life. So I have a habit of doodling on toilet doors. Just little small drawings.
There are drawings and perhaps one can understand what they mean, you see. But then there are letters of the alphabet written in a very funny way. If you try to make words, they don't. They are probably acronyms. Probably they are meant to. They carry a message for a particular group of somebody that I do not know. But sometimes I see the graffiti. Well, when it is art, then it's understandable. Yes, I see. But it's a different kind of art, isn't it? It's not simple art that anybody would understand.
Well, text is inherently important when it comes to graffiti.
So what most of those words mean? I mean, they're not words, see, they're just, as you said, text, alphabets, see. They stand on their own, WRM.
It's like a code that only a few people can decipher. There's an artist who died called Basquiat and he would write same old, S-H-I-T.
Yeah.
That's where he'd write all over New York. That was his trademark.
For his signature? Or?
Yeah, same-o. Yeah.
Yeah, but there are different people with different attitude and different views. But this is very popular. I mean, there is. Would you agree that the graffiti also has its bad aspect, that it damages buildings, it damages the looks if too many people come and paint the same wall?
It can, yeah. There should be designated areas for graffiti, and then other buildings should be left alone and treated as sacred.
Particularly the road signs, because if I am lost, I can't see because somebody has a scribble over something horrible that I can't read, can't repeat.
Yeah.
But where I want to go left, and probably I will go right.
Right.
You did your A-levels in English literature, art and history, and then after that you got an art foundation diploma at Manchester Metropolitan. After that you went to LSE. Now at LSE you studied something completely different, isn't it? How do you explain this? You see, this change of lanes in your journey of life?
I think I felt pressure to pursue the academic because I didn't have the confidence to pursue my art. But my LSE education has informed my work. So my new work is all about Ukraine and about the war in Ukraine. I've done a lot of work about war, like Bosnia and Syria and Iraq. So a lot of my work is quite political. So it's informed my work. It's also made me a good writer. Yeah, it's made me a good writer because of having to write all those essays and be very analytical and structured in my thinking. So it was in some ways beneficial to go.
How has your art been, like, of these places where people have been bombed out, people have died? How have they been received by the critics and the general public?
Well,
can we focus on this piece of art Yeah, you'll have to enlarge it.
Well, yeah.
Can you show us something which is rather this one? Yeah, yeah. The pain on the face of this.
Yeah, this woman has just been like, her home has been decimated.
Mm-hmm.
So my new exhibition is all about Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
And this woman, she'd been bombed, so she's in a state of shock.
Mm-hmm. Are these from your imagination or pictures?
No, they've been taken from pictures.
Mm-hmm. These bombed out buildings. This is also Ukraine?
It's all Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
I just find it very disturbing what's going on at the moment, and I feel that I have to respond to it as an artist. I can't ignore it.
Artists are very sensitive people, so they have to respond.
Yes.
Have they been exhibited?
They're going to be exhibited at Wolde Gallery in Belgium in August.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, do explain what they are, because it's on the screen.
This is a soldier in a bombed out building, and this is a woman who has been bombed and she's injured.
Mm-hmm.
And this woman, her house has been destroyed, so she's in a state of shock.
Mm-hmm. Have you done any work on that professional colleague? Okay, we'll take a short break and then we'll come back. We'll continue with the exhibition of your art.
Okay.
Thank you for being with us. So we'll be back soon after this very short break. Thank you. Welcome back. Before the break, we were talking to our guest today, Shancita Islam, about her work. She's a very versatile person, very talented. As I said before, that she has written 16, it's made 16 films, published 11 books, and has been has exhibited her paintings throughout the world. I'm going to explore some of the background to her artwork, and the initial, and in the beginning she worked at many galleries as resident artist. You worked at White Chapel Art Gallery in 2003, 2004, and then you were artist in resident there, and then Open Gallery, and then 2010 UK Film Council commissioned and for your 2 films, and an art group performed your 2 plays in Portugal. All these things, you see, these are great achievements.
Thank you.
And let us go one by one. What is a resident artist when you're in connection with, or with the background?
You do
gallery?
work in the gallery over a period of time, and work within the community. So they bring people in, and then you do workshops with them, and you create work, and then the work's exhibited in the gallery.
Yeah, you work with the budding artists?
With students.
With the students,
yeah.
The artists, budding artists, that they want to become artists.
Yeah.
In hospitals they have a position called resident doctor.
Right.
It sounds something like that.
Yes.
Resident artist.
Yes.
So it doesn't mean that you live there.
No.
But most of the time you are there.
Yeah.
And you're like a house surgeon who is
Yes.
providing all the medical advice to the patient. So you're in pursuit of knowledge of art, you
Right.
provide. And when you were at Whitechapel Art Gallery, who were your students?
They were from local schools, from disadvantaged backgrounds. Some of them maybe hadn't come to the gallery, so it was opening their eyes and giving them a different perspective on life.
As we said some time ago that art was not considered as a viable profession. And I remember somebody's son went to one of these art colleges, and the teacher asked him that, are you from a very wealthy family? And he said, no. He said that, no, people usually from your background become doctors or engineers or accountants, you see. But art is left for people who are very rich and they don't need money. So not a viable profession. So if you could inculcate or train them to write or to draw people who are at a disadvantage, they don't get this training, then you're doing a wonderful job. You see, as you said, the children from disadvantaged background would come. Let's go to 2010. UK Film Council commissioned you to make 2 films.
One film, the White Wall, an animation film. I was pregnant at the time when I made it. It was very hard, but it was very well worth it. I worked with a team in Iran to make it. I had to draw it all by hand. It was about a little girl with mental health problems who wanted to reach the end of the world and find answers to all her pain.
Yes.
And my next project is in Ethiopia, Cambodia and Jordan. I'll be working with garments workers, so I'm really excited about doing that project and meeting the women.
Ethiopia,
Jordan and Cambodia.
Cambodia. It's all garment workers in Ethiopia.
Yeah.
Do they have garment workers in Ethiopia?
And also in Leicester as well in the UK.
Well, Leicester is in UK.
Yeah.
Part of the developed world.
Yeah.
But you're talking about disadvantaged people. See. But sometimes the factory workers are at a disadvantage.
Yes.
They can't control. They've got to listen to whatever the conditions are, and they've got to work in that. See. But what is this project? I mean, what are you going to look at?
I'm going to be interviewing the women, making a film about the women, listening to their stories, photographing them, drawing them, making a scroll with them, maybe making music with them, and it will culminate in an exhibition of the work. It's part of a research project with Nottingham University.
It will be a film?
Yeah.
A scroll?
Yeah.
And a book?
Photography, yeah, it could possibly be a book in the end. We're talking about it.
Okay. What are you trying to look at? What angle will you see? I mean, are these garment workers, it's popularly known as that they're not very well paid. They lead a very miserable life away from their families. Most of them are from outside the capital or outside the large urban centers, and they come from villages, and they live 8 to 10% in a room. They work long hours. They are not very well paid. If they have children, they have problems because no creche facility there, no medical facility there, no housing. And I have friends who own garment factories. To them, it's all a garden of roses, bed of roses, everything is hunky-dory, everything is fine. So, but I've seen people living in those conditions, and I feel sorry for them. But as you are going to make a film, explore and interview people, I think it's a very good idea. And so what is your aim? What are you looking for?
Just to make these women feel heard, give them a platform to tell their stories, to say what they feel, what they think, talk about their lives, talk about their hardships. I mean, people say, oh, we know about garments workers, but I'm going to try and get really deep inside the psychology of these women.
Yeah. BBC has made, I think, several documentaries about the garment workers, and other private companies have done that, and they have sold these materials to others. But I do not know whether whatever is produced, I'm sure that people do read, people do write, people do watch the films, but to what effect? I think that would be a good idea to ask them. To what effect will your work be? And it's always a good idea to monitor what happened after that.
Yeah.
What about your art that was performed in Portugal? Art group performed 2 of your plays in Portugal. What were those plays?
The one was called The Suitcase and the other was called Hello, and they were like psychological plays. One was about a woman that had been sexually abused, and the other was about a woman who was in an abusive relationship. So they reenacted my poems and performed them in Portugal.
How was it received?
I think it was very well received. I've written more plays actually. I didn't mention that.
It sounds like Hello and then Suitcase. It's like, it looks like a travel.
Yeah.
Travel story.
Yeah.
Hello, Suitcase, and there should be one goodbye.
Yeah.
Last time I talked to you, you talked about your scroll project. See?
Yeah. I specialize in 30-foot long scrolls, so they're really long, intricate pieces of work. So I've done about 12, but I did a massive scroll which is about this high and really long. So I'm working on 2 big. I finished one and I'm working on a new one. So I'm trying to make epic work, like, you know, I'm trying to.
If it is like how many feet?
It's 10 meters.
10 meters, you see. So it will cover the entire wall of any normal exhibition hall.
The thing is, there are not that many Bangladeshi prominent artists, and we're not being documented by art historians. So my dream is to have my own gallery, Pigment Explosion Gallery, and house all my art and my music and my films, and then people can come far and wide and immerse themselves in my world. And then this will be like a lasting legacy for generations to come, because if I'm not going to do it, the British government isn't going to fund it. The Tate Modern is still, you know, these galleries are still skewed in a certain direction.
Okay, Shancita, time for us to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about your dream project, and again then your book, The Tree People. Thank you for being with us. We'll be back soon after this very, very short break. Thank you. Welcome back. Just before the break, we were talking to Shancita about her new project called The Tree People. This book has been published this year, and she is here in London from Malaysia, where she is stationed these days, to launch the book. And on 14th, the book was launched, and she tells me that it was very well received. She's going to tell us more about the book, what's it about, why is it called Tree People, and how long did it take to produce this wonderful work. Yes, Shancita.
Yes, the book took 27 years from conception to
27 years from conception to production
to completion, and it's a limited edition print because it's all about the environment. It's about the tree people and the tree world, and these 2 dragons that don't like trees, and they decide to destroy the tree world. So it's like the fight between good and evil. And it's sort of relevant to what's going on today in terms of like burning the forests. And so the only survivor is Little Twig, and who's the survivor? Little Twig.
Twig, yeah.
He's a tree person, and he has 1 seed, and then he works with the dragons, because the dragons realize that they've destroyed the tree world and that there's no food, and that without trees there is no life. So they regret what they've done, and Little Twig is the one that saves the day. And because he plants a tree, and then the tree grows again. And it's a limited edition print. So the book sold out at Brick Lane Bookshop, and you have to pre-order it. And I hand deliver the books because I want to limit my carbon footprint.
Right. Doesn't that add to the cost of the book?
It's worth it. It's the principle, because I wanted to make an environmentally conscious book, and I wanted to make a book that's precious, so very few people will actually have a copy of this book.
Could you just read out something from there? I saw some text.
Yes, I'll read out the last page. I'll just...
Right, okay.
You can see like the destruction, the devastation, there's nothing left. And it's kind of a foreboding about what's going to happen if we don't take care of our environment. But then the dragons, they use their bellies to fill their bellies with water and replenish the earth instead of making fire. And then there's a new tree, and inside the tree is a tree person, and that's how the tree people survive. And this is the final page is sort of what I would like the
world to be,
the world to look like. And I write, without trees there are no grubs and nice things to eat. Without trees there are no monkeys, butterflies, flowers or birds. Without trees there is no life.
I think Albert Einstein had said that if there were no bees, the world will end.
Yeah.
Because there will be no pollination.
Yeah. But it's a massive achievement to finish this book. It's been a big journey for me. Like, I first did it in black and white, then I was told I need to do it in colour. Then I was working with a publisher in Malaysia, Oyes publisher, who said that I needed to work on the story and I needed to add more pictures. So I had to, that took 5 years. So it's been a real slog, but it's really feel a sense of achievement, and I've already got 2 sequels planned, but hopefully they won't take me 27 years to complete.
And would they be called the fruit people?
No.
The tree people?
Yeah. But people love the book, like they see the illustrations, they're like, wow, you know. So that's very gratifying that all the work's paid off.
Great. When you say that you want to write a sequel, what have you got in mind?
Well, 2 stories. One about a beetle that urinates on the trees, and the urine poisons the trees and the trees dies. So the tree people have to educate the beetle not to urinate on the trees. And then the other book is about these butterflies, these giant butterflies that lay their eggs in the trees, and then the trees split open, and then the butterflies destroy the tree world. So it's like the little twig has to educate the butterflies not to lay their eggs in the trees.
It's very symbolic, isn't it? I mean,
yes.
You can't educate butterflies. They will go on doing things that they do naturally. But the idea is doing something good for the environment.
Yes.
And today, as we sit here, tomorrow and day after tomorrow, that is Monday and Tuesday, is predicted to be the hottest days of the year in Britain. And this is again relates to your book.
Yeah.
It is, we are talking about climate.
Yeah.
The climate, the lack of trees.
Yeah.
The hole in the ozone layer.
Yeah.
All these contribute to the hotting up of the universe, the melting of the glaciers, and all affecting the human life, the wildlife as well. I was very glad to see some butterflies in our back garden yesterday.
Oh, nice.
I said that things are improving.
Yes.
So let's hope things will improve one day, and with the awareness of people with such books, we will be more careful about destroying the world, and we don't have to, because our future generations would be sharing the same world.
Yes.
And we don't want to hand over something which is not worth
Yes.
living.
Yes.
Is that the message of your
Yes.
book?
Yes.
Can you say that in your own words?
Well, you know, we need to take care of our trees, and we need to nurture our land, and we need to be more respectful towards the environment, and we need to cycle and drive less, and everyone needs to do their bit, and if everyone does their bit, then things will change. But it's the people at the top who are the ones that can really implement the change.
Yes, this is the problem all the time. See, we say people at the top, but we are the ones who have sent those people at the top. See, they are our representatives. You see.
Yeah.
See, so they should be doing things that people want.
Yeah.
See, and this is in the interest of not one community, not one group of people, but for the entire world. See.
Yes.
This help. Okay. So we have come to the almost to the end of this program.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thank
Shancita,
you
for coming along, giving us
Dhanyabad.
time, and sharing your views with us, and sharing the good news about the launch of your book, and that it's all been sold out. I was hoping that I'd be able to buy one, but
you can pre-order it at Brick Lane Bookshop.
okay. And how many thousands of pounds do I have to?
The book is the hardback is £35 and the softback is £25.
Great, great. So I will go for the softback. And it was a pleasure meeting you again. Have a nice journey tomorrow.
Thank you.
And have a nice and safe journey. And I hope that Malaysia is cooler than London.
Yeah, I've got a performance in Belgium and then the exhibition in Belgium, so I'll be busy.
Of your work?
Yeah, of the Ukraine work.
Before you fly to?
Yes.
That's great, that's great. What is your next project apart from the garments thing?
I'm working on another book called Living in a Painting, which is about mental health and art. And also I'm releasing 5 more albums this year, so I'm quite busy.
Great, great. So when you say albums, is it all your vocals or musical?
Musical compositions and vocals.
What sort of songs do you sing?
All types. A lot of it's related to the
Country?
mind and psychology.
Not country?
Sometimes, depends.
Only in English?
Not only in English,
You said some
sometimes in
European
French.
French?
Yeah.
Not Bengali?
Yeah, and Bangla.
Okay then. It was great to have you here.
Thank you very much.
And last time we did a program with you on Skype, those bad old days of COVID, but we hope things will improve soon, and with your books like yours and good books like yours and other artists, I think the world will be a better place to live in. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure having you. Thank you.
Dhanyabad.
Thank you, viewers, for being with us, and we hope that you enjoyed the show as much as we have. Goodbye. Take care.